Hey, Mr. Lehrman, how you doing today?
Hey Nick, how are you?
Great. All right, so
Good.
as you know, I've started this Hillside website to help tell people at the very beginning of the process figure out how to get to their dream home on a hill. And obviously, a big step in that is how much money do they need to do this? So, Ryan, you're integral to that piece of the process. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. I've known Nick a long time, so it was nice of him to ask me to jump on and do this. So my name's Ryan Lehrman. I am a senior loan officer with BMO Bank, which is here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's Bank of Montreal. We're a Canadian bank. I specialize more on our portfolio loan products. I built my business around, and what the portfolio is anything that the bank holds on to. So that's all of our jumbo financing. It's my physician loans for doctors and dentists, and our one-time close construction loans for new construction and renovation. I've
Wow, very,
been in the business about 20 plus years. So
very nice. Yeah, and it is unique, right, for loan officers to specialize in construction or renovation loans, right?
100%. A lot of people, we have our niche products. So what I was talking to you before about, I really started doing construction lending about 8 years ago when I used to work for a bank, BBVA, that was acquired by another institution. But yeah, your average loan officer does not do construction loans. There's very few banks that do it the right way, that offer actually a really good product. And what I mean by that is the cost of the product and the rates. And I really don't compete against too much. It's a great loan. It's a great loan if people are willing to move forward with one.
Nice. And I know most people have at least bought a house before, got a mortgage, but construction and renovation loans are maybe they're similar, but they're still different, right?
Correct.
Are
So,
there are there
so
certain terms maybe people should know about construction renovation loans? How are those two things different? And then also, how do they differ from a regular mortgage?
So how it differs from a regular mortgage is that you're making interest only payments throughout the entire process until the home's completed. Once the home's completed, that's when we convert it to permanent financing, and then that's when you're starting to make your principal and interest payments. Now, when you go out and buy a normal home and you were to put 20% down, you're at an 80% loan to value, you're making principal and interest payments right from the very beginning, unless you're doing an interest only product, right? So there's two, our one-time closed construction loan consists of ground up construction. And what I mean by that is that if you have an old house and you're going to take a bulldozer and scrape it and start from the ground up, and then we do renovation loans. So renovation loan is basically keeping a couple walls up, or if you're like if you're adding 1,000, 2,000 square feet to your home, that's considered a renovation loan. And we look at that two different ways, and I can go into that as well.
Well, why don't we do that, Mr. Lehrman?
Right. So So ground up construction, we look at the lot value. So what is that lot going to appraise for? Plus the budget, the cost to build, right? So a perfect example, Paradise Valley. Hey, I own a lot free and clear. It's $2 million, right? Cost to build, $3 million, right? So total, it's $5 million. So as long as that lot appraises for what we think it's going to appraise for, let's say $2 million, that's basically your down payment. So you would come to me and say, hey, Ryan, I need a loan for $3 million. Okay. And at that point, that's when we collect all the documentation, we get it approved, we close the loan. A renovation loan, on the other hand, is looked at differently. So a renovation loan is, all right, we're going to pay off the first mortgage. So let's say that you had a loan for $500,000. That loan's going to go bye-bye. You need a $500,000 renovation loan. So I'm going to give you a loan for $1 million. You're going to be making interest only payments on that $500,000 that we paid off right away. And then as the money gets distributed to the builder, that interest only payment's only going to go up. And then basically, let's say the home appraises for $1.3 million. Well, you're at what, 75, 76% loan to value. Another option there is you're not coming to the table with any money because again, we're going off future appraised value. The appraiser is going to come out to your house, look at the house the way it is now, and then they're going to look at the plans, the specification, they're going to look at the budget, they're going to say, all right, what are we doing to this house? All right, we're taking this home from 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. What are 3,000 square foot homes appraising for at this time? Oh, 1.3 all day long. We get the appraisal back, we're good to go.
Got it. Okay. All right. Well, that's super interesting and good to know. So renovation loan, you're looking at future appraised value.
Correct.
Construction loan, you're looking at kind of the overall cost of the project, and
Plus
how
the
much
lot.
plus the lot value. Perfect. All right. Really cool. What are kind of some other things or may either terms or other things that you've seen people come to you with that they just maybe sometimes just don't understand because they're not familiar with the project with the process of construction
It's
loan.
just understanding how the loan's set up, and understanding the qualification. And we talked about this earlier. I'm running into this a lot to where a lot of people, will go out and spend all this money for hiring an architect, hiring a designer, giving up builder deposit, and then when they're ready to go do a loan, they can't qualify for the loan. So it's qualification's kind of the same setup as a regular traditional loan, but we have a max debt to income ratio of 43%, right? So what does that mean, Ryan? When I pull somebody's credit report, we look at all your minimum payments on your credit report. So if you have a mortgage, a car loan, minimum credit cards, we're going to take all those into account, plus your new proposed mortgage payment for the construction loan. And I'm going to divide it by your income. And as long as your income is 43, or excuse me, as long as your debt to income ratio is 43% or less, it's that easy to get a construction loan. But again, there's people out there that are just going extreme, which I see a lot, and they can't qualify, or they have to come to the table with more money to basically make the loan work.
Got it. So in that case, it seems to make sense. Someone should come to you pretty early on. Like we offer, if they know at least a little roughly how much the land is going to cost, they want to build on a hillside, and they use one of our budget calculators that we have and get a pretty good idea of what the construction cost is going to be, they should probably come to you pretty early before they even hire us to design a home. And if they know a certain square footage, we could give them a pretty good estimate on price, and then we'll know how much they were into the property based on how much they paid for a piece of land. You could help them at that
Yes,
time.
correct. 100%. And again, I've
Awesome.
run into this a little bit way too much. I'm doing one right now to where, the borrower's building their dream home in Flagstaff, but they have a house here in Phoenix. And we had to structure it to where they need to pay off their mortgage, their current mortgage right now. And she was okay doing that because their plans were to move to Flagstaff. And this home is their dream home.
Mhm.
So again, I'd rather give you news up front now than waiting till the last minute when you're spending all of this money, getting your hopes up and actually looking at the renderings of your home to where now you can't get that home because you can't qualify.
Right. We want to help people achieve their dreams, not destroy them, right?
100%.
Awesome.
100%.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, no, that's great. I mean, this is perfect. This is exactly the kind of information I think our audience needs.
Yeah.
And yes, early and often, call Ryan.
Yeah.
I'll call
No,
him. I'll text him for you if you need me to.
there you go. But let me explain the rates because again,
Uh-huh.
I always run into this as well.
Mhm.
Everybody thinks interest rates on construction loans are higher, and that's not with us. We treat a construction and renovation loan just like a purchase. So if someone comes to me and says, I need a $6 million construction loan, and we really don't have a limit. There is somebody that I worked with that did a $20 million construction loan in LA for someone. So if it fits our box, we're going to do it just because we're able to. Where you have a lot of people that are capped off at certain loan amounts, a lot of brokers out there, for instance, they can't go over a certain loan amount. We look at things a lot differently, right? We have $1 trillion balance sheet. As long as you can qualify, as long as you meet the criteria, we'll make that happen all day long. But interest rates, give you an example. And again, interest rates are all based off loan to value. That's how much equity you have in the prop. Basically, it's the down payment. It's like, think of it as a home, right? I'm going to go buy a $2 million home and put 20% down. Well, you have an 80% loan to value loan. So you have 20% equity sitting right now, right? So we look at loan to value, we look at credit score, right? And that's going to determine your interest rate. But interest rates right now, like on a 30-year fix, you're in the very low sixes. An ARM, 7-year, 10-year ARM, you're in the fives, upper fives. And that's before any relationship pricing, which BMO, if you open, we give all the way up to 5/8 off interest rates, depending on how much you provide to the bank. So, if you wanted to get really down to it, you can be in the high fours, very low fives on a construction loan, and that's cheap money instead of paying cash for a build, basically. And our
Right.
construction renovation is for primary and secondary homes only. So I get a lot all the time where people are like, "Do you do investment properties?" Unfortunately, we do not do investment properties. We also do owner occupied 1 to 4 unit homes as well. And that's for primary and secondary homes as well. So multifamily, we will do construction loans on those as well, as long as it's a primary or a secondary home.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know too.
Yeah. And fees.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I get this all the time. Hey, Ryan, what are your costs? We charge an underwriting fee. So basically right now, and again, fees can change, but how the fees work with us is $12.50 for underwriting, $7.95 construction admin fee. Then you have your appraisal fee, you have your credit report fee, and depending on how many number of draws the builder will need, we're going to dictate how much that's going to cost per draw. Because again, your loan is going to be managed, your build's basically going to be managed by our draw coordinating team in Chicago. And when the builder needs a draw, they're going to reach out to our team in Chicago and say, "Hey, we need an inspection." So we have to pay that inspector to come out to make sure the work's been completed, sign off so we can release funds to the builder. And I always like to say $3,000 or less. And then there are other fees or title fees, right? And actually, a lot of the times, title fees are more expensive than our fees. Your property taxes and insurance, you're responsible for taxes and insurance throughout the whole construction. Once the loan converts to permanent financing, that's when we're going to ask for your escrow account if one is needed for taxes and insurance.
Got it. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, great rates, low fees. Definitely talk to a lender if it's myself or someone else. Talk to multiple lenders, feel comfortable in who you want to work with, but make sure you qualify before going through all of the next steps. And make sure nothing changes as well, because a lot of times on these larger types of builds that I see, it takes about 6 to 8 months to bid out, to get the plans, to get everything put together. Renovation loans are a lot faster, but with new construction, it's totally different. So,
Yeah. So yeah, what you said is great too. I mean, as far as fees go, some charge origination, like 1 point origination, which is a decent chunk of change, considering it could be, a loan in the millions of dollars, where your fees sound like they're $10,000 or less, kind of all in with title, all those things built in. So that's great. Yeah.
that origination fee, an example for people that don't understand the origination piece. If I'm giving you a $5 million loan, or someone's giving you a $5 million loan, and they're like, "All right, it's going to cost you 1 point origination plus all these additional," that's $50,000 that you're just throwing away. So people need to be educated. There's a lot of us out there, but just know there's certain banks that do these the right way. We're one of them. I can name 2 or 3 other banks that do them well as well. I do see brokers out there, but I know the brokers and I see the rates that the brokers are providing, and it's not attractive and it's very expensive. Um, and again, it's the same setup. They go through the same qualification regardless of who you go with. But no, we want to make it as easy as possible. Also with the appraisals, right? If I'm doing a $10 million construction loan, if you were to go to anywhere else, they would require probably 2 appraisals. Every bank that I worked at, even the bank BBVA, where I used to do a lot of construction loans there as well, if the loan was over $2 million, I would need 2 appraisals, period. With us, 1 appraisal, that's it. That's all we care about.
Nice. So yeah, it sounds like you streamline the process and you're very kind of borrower friendly.
100%.
And then even the draws. So maybe not everyone understands the draw part either. That's probably a good thing to know because that's clearly not something that happens when you're buying an already made house. So
Correct.
draws is maybe just explain that process just a little bit.
So a draw is basically the builder wants money, right? So if the builder is requesting a $200,000 draw, they're going to contact the draw coordinator who we work with here in Chicago, and they're going to say, "Hey, I completed these items. I need an inspection." So a draw is basically, hey, if I'm giving you a $3 million construction loan and the builder needs $200,000, right? You're going to now the cost, it goes down to $2.8 million because the builder already has $200,000 to play with. So draw is technically money provided to the builder so he or she can actually build your home, right? So
Right. And this is after work has been completed. Is that right? After that, the specific funds they're requesting is for work that they've already completed.
that's correct. Now there's
Yeah.
soft goods, like so
Yeah.
for items that need deposits, right? Windows, doors, cabinets, specialty items. We'll give all the way up to a 50%, probably sometimes more of a startup draw because the builder needs that. The builder doesn't want to come out of pocket with their own money, right? But again, we're very easy to work with. I have communication with our draw coordinating team, but I have a bunch of construction loans going on right now to where it's seamless, and the communication's everything. Builder wants their money. All right, great. This is what we need. We're going to get you your money within 5 days, right? So that
Perfect.
we like to do within 5 to 7 days to play it safe. So
So the builders like you because it's pretty fast, but homeowners too.
fast, but
Yeah.
also the builders like me too, because if there's an issue, it's not like I just fund the loan and I leave and that's it. See you later, right? I'm in the middle because again, I gotta satisfy everyone, right? So if the builder is having an issue getting money, there's a back end line that we're able to call to basically say, hey, can you help out? What's going on? And again, Nick, I've been doing this long enough. You know how I am. Communication, it's my biggest pet peeve, right? I pick up my phone. It's how it works. No, my team's 15 out, let's say 1,000 miles away, whatever, how far Chicago's away, they work literally like they're right next to me and it gets done, period. So
Nice. So yeah, that's great. So builders like you, homeowners like you, they don't have to deal with actually paying the builder, but also you're protecting their investment by you protecting yours, right? By verifying the work has been done. It's also how, gives that homeowner the peace of mind. So it's kind of like
well,
an extra inspection.
yeah.
Yeah,
I've done construction loans for people that could easily pay for it for cash, right? But at the same time, you knew we flipped homes back in the day, right? And it's very hard to trust people. And I've got, yes, correct. You have the bank watching over your asset, right? So even though you could pay cash for it, right? You have a bank that's actually managing your money and making sure that your house is going to be completed all day long.
yeah,
It's a safety net, right?
yeah.
So that's how I look at it.
That's awesome. Well, yes, this is great information.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of information, and that's where I want, hopefully the website, which looks great. And people reach out. Just if you have basic questions about a construction renovation loan, if more people knew even about a renovation loan, because again, a lot of people love where they live, right? And they have all this land, but what do they want? They wish they can build, but they don't have the money to build. Well, guess what? If you can qualify for a loan and get a renovation loan, it's really very minimal money to do so. So,
Yeah, very little out of pocket.
correct.
Awesome. Yeah, and your information, we'll have it up here on the site with this interview. We'll have a short version, we'll have a long version. We'll do some touch-ups, some edits on your makeup. So take a look. All right, Ryan. Yeah, really, thank you very much for doing this. I know you don't
Welcome
have to.
anytime. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Yeah,
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a good one.
thanks. Yeah, you
Thanks.
too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.